Resource Center. And we were fortunate enough to have some presentations by some venture capitalists a couple of weeks ago here, because we also work with the Incubation Center, and some of what we learned from that is going to be incorporated into this tonight. And interestingly, this is kind of fortuitous in that not only do we have one of our new clients, the East Coast Surfing Museum, with us here tonight, but directly across the street is one of Rosalie's new clients. The Halate Center opened up directly across the street from the Surfing Museum, so we've got all kinds of clients in here. And this is Rosalie Coleman back there.
Right back here.
And I want to point her out because she gives a workshop. She's got 30 years of finance experience with AT&T and runs an outstanding new workshop all about understanding financial statements, financial management, that sort of thing. And you'll see why that's important as I kind of come back to it here. So thanks for poking your head in.
Thank you.
What we're going to do here tonight is we're going to go through a little bit of an introduction, talk about why you need a business plan. We're going to go through a 6-step plan, and I'm going to show you kind of why we've chosen that format and what some other options are. And then there's going to be a very extensive appendix. You will be getting a copy, all of you will be getting a copy of this presentation here tonight. And there are slides here that we're not going to be covering, but will be in the deck. Some of the companies we've worked with, and it's interesting, you talk about the screen business back there. So some of the companies that we've worked with are Killian's Seamless Gutters, who in 2013 was the Entrepreneur of the Year in this area. And boy, just run an absolute dynamo. We'll talk a little bit about all these to a certain extent. But Maggie's European Bakery up in Flagler Beach, Halifax Academy for Caregivers, which has developed a fascinating concept where they train people to be in a very accelerated way to be healthcare workers in 1 week, and that's turned into a really nice business for them. Atlantic Property and Maintenance, we worked with them during the recession. Heartstrings Breast Care Boutique in New Smyrna. So you can see we've spanned a whole range of Flagler and Volusia counties and a whole range of businesses. We've obviously worked with many others, but just kind of want to point out some of these. Some of the examples, though, anything you share with us is confidential. So some of the examples I'm going to show tonight come from probably larger businesses than probably what you're thinking about, but they're in the public domain, so you'll be able to get a sense of kind of what they're about. Okay? Importantly, today, business plans vary by size, type, state of the business, size requirements, everything. You've got everything from profit to nonprofit, retail business, service businesses, manufacturing, online businesses, B2B versus B2C, which is consumer businesses. Whether you've got an established business and you're looking to kind of do a plan for that, whether you're looking at high technology, whether you're looking at home-based businesses. And so they're all kind of different. As such, tonight is going to be an introduction to the topic of business planning versus something that's highly detailed. However, you're going to find that the pieces of a plan, the pieces of a plan and how to think about them is what we're going to cover versus a highly detailed approach to writing an individual plan. But what you will find is that everything you hear tonight will be relevant to no matter what kind of plan you're doing. Additionally, at the back in your appendix will be examples of other business plans, links to business planning resources, so you'll be able to go from here and kind of explore it a lot on your own. Importantly, because of how we're going to cover this, we strongly urge that you attend a lot of workshops because there's a lot of stuff to absorb. And you're not going to kind of get it all at once, and it's very easy to kind of walk out of here feeling a bit overwhelmed, and you should not feel that way. We're going to be covering a lot of territory tonight, but there's no intention that you're supposed to absorb all of this in a lot of detail, but rather just kind of look at the landscape of what it's about and attend workshops, get with counselors, that sort of thing. And it's not obviously not a sales pitch because the service is free. but rather it's meant to kind of invite you in versus kind of feeling that you're intimidated. Very importantly, as you kind of go through this process, understand what it's about. There's a phrase that we heard from a venture capitalist a few weeks ago, which was understanding the importance between knowledge and wisdom. Okay? Knowledge is what you know about something, and wisdom is understanding what to do with it. For instance, knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing that a tomato probably does not work best in a fruit salad. If you ask anybody who is in venture capital formation or in business development, they will tell you that the biggest single issue is people having a lack of a solid business plan. So being here tonight is very, very relevant. Okay, so what is a business plan? Okay? It helps you lay out, number one, what is your business idea? Okay? However, the business idea is not enough to make it successful. Okay? Goodness knows how many restaurants there have been out there that had decent ideas but did not fail, and the same can be said of most businesses out there. Okay? There's a tangible objectives part of a plan. And I'm going to go through a lot of this in more detail and try to surround it so that you've got a good picture of it in terms of sales and earnings. But very importantly, describing the how you will achieve them. Okay? What has to be done, at what cost, by whom, by when. Okay? And we're very fortunate to have us with us tonight, and also the metrics to stay on track. One of our really outstanding counselors, Dave Singleton, is here. Okay? And Dave, one of the things we're going to try to do, that we tried to do in this latest version, is help take some of the complexity in business planning and streamline it a bit. And one of Dave's big insights is that kind of once you've got your idea, okay, and we're going to come back and cover this in more depth, is, the biggest single thing after that is figure out what's it going to cost to make that idea come alive and where you're going to get that money, okay? If you're opening a restaurant, you do not have to do your interior decor, or you do not have to set up your Facebook page until you've got the cost figured out. And one of Dave's big insights is that actually, in working through what it costs to get a business started, and we'll go through that, you actually end up working out a whole lot of other aspects of the business plan. Okay? And so really understanding your idea in considerable depth, because that's going to drive the cost, and then figuring out what that cost is in all of its components and where you're going to get that money from is really the core of kind of business planning. Okay? The real value in having a plan is not the document, but rather that whole process of thinking about it in a systematic way. Jimmy Lane from the Surfing Museum was talking about how they want to see the museum become a catalyst for making that area a destination for people interested in surfing, driving a very commercial aspect of it, conventions, visitors, all that sort of thing. And the business plan forces you to really think about, how's that actually going to happen? Okay, how does that become real? Said another way, it gets you to clarity and reality. Okay, lots of businesses don't kind of get this connection going, and when you get down and you do the plan, you realize that the way you see it and the way you want to commercialize it will not actually kind of operate. Okay? And it forces you to kind of think about what is your secret sauce, if you will. Okay? Now, very importantly, in developing your plan is to understand it's going to take some time and effort. So it's not a problem with you if it seems hard or challenging or difficult, all that sort of thing. If it seems like you've got to start over, or you go down some kind of roads that don't lead anywhere, and you got to come back and start again. That's the nature of starting a business. And the more you work with it, the more familiar you will get, and you'll figure out kind of what is right with you. It is very much like taking on any kind of new activity. It can seem very daunting at first, And as you get more into it, it will start to become more familiar and easier and that sort of thing. If you would have had the chance to see Killian's Gutter's presentation, they gave a presentation on where their business has gone in the last couple of years. And they've been in business now a lot of years. It's a family operation. Rosemary does all the estimating and all that sort of thing. And her husband does the operations and the installation piece of it. And it's really an incredible operation, run on some really fundamental personal sales principles and that sort of thing. Please go ahead, not at all. And the point is that if you would see her presentation, you'd be so impressed by how smooth they seem to operate it. But as she would point out, it's only gotten there over a lot of years.